Please rise.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars drew the perilous fight for the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flare above bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Where's Bill? Please be seated. Welcome to the Richard M. Weaver Memorial Ceremony. Three of Richard's high school contemporaries who remembered Richard and his unique place in history are responsible for organizing this event. Indian Hill alumni Nick Fagnoli, Lon Deckard, and Bill Wiedemann recalled during a reunion that there was a hole in the world where a big red-headed kid used to stand. These men held deep feelings about Richard's story, and they acted upon them. It's been said that Richard, a 1967 graduate, had much in common with present Indian Hill students. Richard was an outdoorsman like Matt Ziegler. He was adventuresome like Todd Van Ee and Suzanne Arani. He was fearless like Harry Pappas. And he was a ready volunteer like Tajer Varghese and Pratik Kakasero. Like all boys, Richard wanted most to achieve manhood. Manhood's what we all looked forward to when we were powerless little boys. Richard, as a youth, sought a mentor, a man who exemplified the respect that he himself wanted. He found that mentor in the person of Hank Bucher Sr. Hank was a veteran. He was a Marine. And so, as you might expect, the Corps became Richard's passion and goal also. In the Marine Corps, Richard became a believable hero. Not the kind that never feels fear, never questions authority, never wonders about his own survival or the validity of wars in general. He became instead a credible human hero. The kind that you can count on to stay with you when it makes sense not to. The kind that manages to be more than self-serving in impossible situations. Big Red, as he was called, matured quickly in combat. He gave advice to green troops. He had a calming effect on the new guys. He was an exporter of courage. In a letter to Hank Bucher, Richard said, "I've never done anything important. This is my chance." One of Richard's chances came at the battle for Troy Bridge. As an M60 gunner, Richard knew that he was the firepower for the platoon and their only protection from being overrun by a numerically superior enemy. He also knew that his job as a gunner made him a special target. Though the bridge was destroyed, he held his position in such a way that he helped save his unit that day. Richard knew the statistics about gunners, about them lasting only 7 seconds in combat, but he didn't let that incapacitate him. Survivors of the Tet Offensive have said that Red gave them the support and that special piece of information that made all the difference for them. Richard, having earned 2 Purple Hearts, wrote in correspondence of being scared all the time. He'd lost many friends by the time he arrived at the walled city of Hue in February of 1968. He had seen more reality in his first month in Vietnam than many of us will ever face in a lifetime. He had been asked to do more than we should ask of anyone, and he remained faithful to those who asked. Hue was the most important battle of the war. It was a tangible struggle for both sides. Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines paid for that Allied victory with 1 casualty for every yard of ground gained. The 1st Marine Division, of which Alpha 15 was a part, received a presidential citation and permission to add Hue to their battle streamer. It was an honor that was obtained man by man, act by act. In his last letter, Richard wrote to Hank, "I pray all the time and do all that I know how, and I hope that it's enough. But sometimes it just can't be helped." His words were prophetic. 24 hours later, Richard was shot and killed during an ambush at Phu Loc. I have been told that soldiers fight for simple things, for things that are close to their daily lives. They will die for friends, for family, for home, for the Corps, for the right to do self-determination. It is their chance to do something important. But the cost for those who are called to do this work can be all that they are or all that they ever will be. We remember that here today, those of us who have gathered, we remember that Richard never had the opportunity to fall in love and marry, to see the faces of his children, to hunt again with his surrogate father, Hank, to work, to retire, to enjoy old age, grandchildren. Richard's loss can never be reconciled, justified. Yet there is something in this memorial which we should not forget, and it is this: for a life to possess meaning, it must be spent. And Richard's life was full of meaning, of relevance. He grew up to be the Marine that he wanted to be. He achieved the manhood that he so desperately wanted. He's an example for future generations of the allegiance that democratic community requires of us. He is a symbol of hope for a bright future for this American experiment. Today we rectify an oversight by honoring the life and contribution of Richard Weaver. In this we owe a debt to the members of the Richard Weaver Memorial Committee. The memorial itself will be a visual lesson for future Indian Hill students and will provide an ongoing scholarship fund so that Richard's life may go on speaking to other lives, while providing the Indian Hill community with a permanent reminder of recent history. We should recall 3 lessons that Richard and every teenager has to teach us. 1, that all lives are sacred, those of the poor as well as the rich. That we need not worry about implanting the moral lessons of duty and honor in our children, because until we take them out of them, they are already there. And 3, that our sons and daughters will perpetually become exactly that which we model to them. We Americans have always taken time to remember the stories of individuals as well as those of our collective experience. This is why we have come together here this afternoon to retell one soldier's story, to honor a Marine, to express our gratitude for Richard Weaver's life and for the sacrifice that he has made in our behalf. We are fortunate today to have with us members of Richard's unit. Many of these men are the ones that I spoke to you about, who attribute their presence here today to his ability as a soldier and his willingness to help them. If you'd stand when I called your name, please. John Carroll, Wilmington, Delaware. Navy Achievement Medal with Valor. Richard Chan, Oyster Bay, New York. 2 Purple Hearts, Navy Commendation Medal with Valor. Johnny Clark, 2 Purple Hearts, Navy Commendation Medal with Valor. Joe Fennick, Chelsea, Michigan, Bronze Star. Richard Lee Hall, Gunnery Sergeant, Bugler for this ceremony, Bronze Star Medal with Valor. Bill James, Dallas, Texas, National Secretary, Vietnam Veterans. Marty Lynch, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 2 Purple Hearts. Jim McGinnis, Cross Plains, Tennessee, Purple Heart. Jesus Quintana, 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star with Valor. John Stack, Scotch Plains, New Jersey, National President, Vietnam Veterans. Bob Thompson, Fredericksburg, Virginia, could not be with us here today. Rick Zell. Stacy Watson, Christiana, Tennessee. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Rob Portman, Representative, Ohio 1st District, Congress of the United States.
Thank you, Deacon Gibler. It's my honor to be here today, to be able to join with all of you in honoring a great person, a true American hero. I want to commend everyone who played such an important role in putting this together. Lon, Hank Bucher, Bill, all of you who put so much time and effort into this. And I want to thank you for including me. He was a good friend to a lot of people who are gathered here this afternoon. All of us know he was a great patriot. To these guys, of course, he was someone they depended on. He was a dedicated Marine. And I think they knew him just as Big Red. Like many of our nation's best and brightest, Richard was killed in the line of duty, in his case in Vietnam. But he was fighting in loyal service to his country, which he deeply loved. Tomorrow, I understand, marks the 28th anniversary of his death. But today, we do not just mourn for him, we are also here, we must recall, to celebrate his life. A short life, but one about which there is plenty to celebrate. He graduated from Indian Hill High School here in 1967. The same year I graduated from 4th grade at Indian Hill Middle School down the road. I didn't know him, but he was just the kind of guy that a 4th grader looks up to. He could have gone on to college. He had that opportunity. Instead, he thought his country needed him. So he made a tough decision. And fresh out of high school, he volunteered. Again, a true American patriot. He and his unit, Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, met the enemy in more than 50 separate occasions, I understand, from January 18th until May 20th, during the heart of the brutal Tet Offensive. Time and time again, Richard displayed his bravery. Time and time again, he came through for his guys. From the streets of Way City to the bridge at Troy River, as the deacon has reminded us. On the morning of May 20th, 1968, he gave his ultimate sacrifice for our country. He died fighting the enemy. His machine gun was in his hands when he went down. The 1st Battalion, 5th Marines fought on, and although Richard was no longer at their sides, he remained very much in their minds and in their hearts. As you see today, these guys have come from all over the country. And I'm sure his memory is very much in the minds of those young Marines, active duty, some of whom are with us today. Indian Hill High School is the place right here where he matured from a boy to a young man. And where no doubt it was right here where he learned about the importance of fighting for what you believe in. He believed in America. He was willing to die for America. And for this, his name will now ever be inscribed behind us on this monument as among the great heroes of our community and of our nation. With the dedication of this monument to Richard, his bravery will always be preserved here. It will contain a multitude of medals, and you can see them behind us after the ceremony if you haven't already seen them, that he earned for his bravery and his dedication to the Allied cause in Vietnam. It's my honor this afternoon to present another tribute to him, which is a flag, the United States flag that was flown over the U.S. Capitol, and it was flown over the Capitol in Richard's honor. I would like to present that flag today Here's a certificate. The accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol at the request of Rob Portman. It was flown for the dedication of the monument and in recognition of Richard Weaver, Indian Hill High School, May 19th, 1996. Hank Bucher, I'd like to present you with this flag today. If you'd come up, please. You yourself, a veteran and hero of the Second World War.
A veteran.
And a veteran. We'll call you a hero today. And as we've already heard, from everything I've heard, he was like a son to you, in the sense that he looked to you for inspiration.
He grew up a lot with our family.
Grew up a lot with your family.
And
I think
Camp Dennison.
Down in Camp Dennison. And I think you're the appropriate person to present this flag to. It was flown over the Capitol in his honor, and I hope we'll be able to fly it here in his honor as well.
Thank you very much, Rob. This is the unexpected, getting this great American flag that flew over the Capitol in honor of Richard Weaver. And I sure am thankful that Rob gave me this flag. Thank you very much.
For those of you who might not know, Congressman Portman is known as a friend to veterans in this area. He's done a great deal for them, and they appreciate it. Now we have the Sons of Dixie Men's Chorus.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence in the dim and flaring lamps. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us live to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. His truth is marching on. stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies and on to the ocean, white winged foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. America, my home.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is said that our freedom is reborn with each new generation of Americans. I passed the torch of freedom to Richard and he gave his life for our liberty. There is no higher calling for a Marine. In lasting memory of Richard Michael Weaver, may his gift of courage and his love of our great liberties be then passed on to all of us here today. Let freedom ring.
Ready, aim, fire, aim, fire, aim, fire. Present, arm. Order. Carry colors. Thank you all for your service. Order colors.